Do 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 do. Ba 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 da. Wa ba 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 da. Ba 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 da. Boo do 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 boo doo. Ba 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 da. Pushing buttons, gonna make a show. Pushing buttons, it's a Friday. That doesn't rhyme, but I just don't mind, 'cause I'm pushing some buttons, gonna make a show. Woo! What is up, Internet? What's going on? What are you doing, all you Internet folks? I'm slowly but surely dying, I think. I think I'm slowly but surely dying, I think. Oh, lordy, it's not a fire. What's up, everybody? It's Friday. Good to be here. Glad to be here. Glad to see all your bright and shiny faces in the live chat out here on the left-hand side of my screen. On the other left-hand side of my screen, I've got Patreon posts over there. We're going to go over those today here in just a second. But I want to start the show off by getting the stupid commercial out of the way right here, out the gate, right out the beginning. Why did I just mention Patreon? Because we're fan-funded, and we have a Patreon page, and we're going to go over the Patreon posts today like we do on a Friday. That could be $1 a month. Hey, cool, right? Awesome. Radness. Totally rad. We have 243 people helping to sponsor the show little bit by little bit. Boom, done with that part. The other part is you can hit the join button down on YouTube and chip in some money if you want to do it that way. You could do it that way. We have 90... Oh, hold on. We have to update you guys. We got a bright and shiny moment here right at the beginning of the show. We've got 95 YouTube members now. We're getting closer and closer to that 100 mark. The three newest would be Clint's Aqua Tanks, Tony Franzen, and Fab4 Aquatics. Those are the newest. Some people had to re-up. They had to fix their credit cards. You know what I'm saying? That happens sometimes. Big thanks to you guys, and big thanks to everybody else. I wish I could just read everybody's names off, but honestly, people start to lose their mind and tell me it's the most boring show that they've ever heard in their entire life, and I agree. All right, we're done with the stupid commercial stuff. Or you could buy some merch. There we go. Let me pin the merchandise because I can do that now, and it's the most annoying thing to pop up in the chat. But these, oh, hold on. We have, I was going to put the stickers up in there because the stickers look awesome, but I haven't got mine yet. But I'm going to pin the shrimp leggings. Oh my God, you guys. We have shrimp leggings now. You can wear around your legging tights, like around town, that have shrimps, crystal shrimps on them. Nobody's bought them yet, and I understand. If you So we're going to pin the leggings because that's rad, and I haven't received mine yet. But those of you that watch the live show here, you'll get a little hint that I may or may not be awaiting my pair of shrimp man tights that are mainly for ladies, but whatever. You know, it's the year 2020. And we might as well wear some leggings because we might get stricken down by the coronavirus. On to some personal notes. You guys will notice that I was not here for my normal appointed time that I normally stream on Fridays. Schedule around here is totally nuts. And I have mentioned this before. I have been dealing with some medical problems again over this last 3 weeks. It is driving me nuts. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just ongoing, never ending. You guys will notice that I try to hit the cough button whenever I can, but I have been coughing. I had pneumonia earlier this year. I finally got back into the hospital today, so I spent the whole morning getting checked out, lab work done, x-rays, blah, 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 the whole gamut of nonsense, and I'm back on homestay for the next week while they run me through wild... they got me on a bunch of medication. I'll put it that way. They got me on a bunch of medication for the next week. We'll see what happens. Hopefully it kind of clears things up. And then if it doesn't, we're in for the CT scans and whatnot. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully things shake out. I'm not asking for any kind of pity party or anything like that. I just want to let you guys know that's what's up. I've been really tired. I've been coughing and coughing and coughing and losing my mind. With that, I shall end the portion of the show where I talk about the personal health issues, but that's why things have been a little bit weird. We've had the virus here going on for quite a while now. The daycares are basically getting to the point where they might start to open soon, that kind of stuff. We're not sure, but we don't have daycare for this lovely little baby right here. So it has just been a 24/7 trying to get my work done, Vicky's work done, all that kind of stuff. So that's what we've been up to. And and then plus I've had this crazy hacking cough thing going on for a while now. And then, of course, because of the virus going on, they haven't wanted anybody to come into the hospital. I don't know if anybody else out there has noticed that, but that's kind of what I've been dealing with a little bit on my end, is that they're trying to not get people to come in. And speaking of the coronavirus, yes, I did have a test for it, and no, I don't have it. It has shown up negative. So, it's one of those things. We're doing what we can. We're doing what we can around here. What was Chevy Fish saying? Chevy Fish said, "Hi, Rob." Chevy Fish said, "I don't get notified either." Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys about YouTube notifications. Turn them on. Turn on the push notifications. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. But a lot of the shows have been I've been dumping them into unlisted to kind of see what happens. Most people don't understand the inner workings of YouTube, but it's all run by robots and stuff. And so if you post up a live stream like this that is a long format show and people don't watch it and they're not engaged with it because for whatever reason, either they're too busy or they click out of it because they're like, I don't want to listen to this idiot yammer for a long time. I get it. I understand. But the robots basically say, well, you put up an 1.5 hour long video and people only watched 2 minutes of it or 30 seconds of it. So what it does is it drops that down and doesn't promote it to anybody. So I don't know what to tell you. I've been sending them into unlisted so that they're not trying to promote the super long video to people that don't watch the super long videos. I don't know. I'm trying to do what I can around here, and we'll see how it works with this unlisted thing. But I also don't know about people's notifications, like I just don't know. I don't work at YouTube. Like, I work for YouTube. If people are wondering what the payout for YouTube looks like, what's his name? Gene, otherwise known as Potato Jet. What's his name? Potato Jet. What's his full name? Gene Nagata, that's his name. So this guy, Gene Nagata, he's otherwise known as Potato Jet, and he actually posted a in-depth look at what YouTube looks like if you wanted to see like how much money you make from being on YouTube or whatnot. He actually just posted one up on his he has like a personal channel that he runs that's much smaller than his big giant channel. And he gives you, like, it actually shows you the analytics, what it looks like, which how much money people make off of YouTube. So to give you an idea of, like, kind of what it looks like if you're somebody that's not into it. But that's like a 9-minute video you guys could look at that I think was probably pretty interesting and give you an idea of what, you know, the expectation is and, like, what it looks like being somebody like me that works for YouTube, essentially. Like, I'm a independent contractor is the way that they do it. So you're on a 1099, and then they pay you out a check, and then you have to pay your taxes on it after the fact. So, but Gene Nagata that'd be a great place to stop if you were interested in seeing what the analytics look like and what the expectation is. So his channel has like 30,000 subscribers. That's about like his personal channel, like that's his little channel, has more subscribers than my channel here. But it's about the same, and you guys can get an idea of what it looks like from that end. So that's one of those things is that, you know, I've often talked about this kind of stuff before, and I know that people get, like, super upset. They're like, I don't want to hear about that. But you know, one of the things is that, like, to help promote my channel, I have to hope that, like, YouTube will promote it. And if I have a bunch of live streams on there, they don't want to promote those videos out because it's just it's a robot that's doing it. And the robot goes, oh, an hour-and-a-half long video and people only watch 30 seconds of it. So it will stop promoting them. So I'm unlisting the live streams to see if it'll promote some of the shorter content that people actually do engage with. And hopefully that whole thought trying to come out of my head into my mouth out to you guys made sense. Did it make sense? I don't know. But I do my best to try and do that. I am on some new medication, so my brain might be just a little bit out there right now. Who knows? They said I'm supposed to drink an insane amount of water while I'm on it, so I'm drinking coffee. Because it has water. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's why I'm unlisting them. So people were wondering why I'm unlisting the live streams. That's why I'm doing it. So hopefully that some of my short edited content that I put a bunch of work into hopefully gets promoted. But that doesn't seem to be the case after testing it for a couple of weeks. That does not seem to be what actually happens. But it's kind of funny because people have asked me, like, is Patreon that worth it? Is Patreon that worth it, or is becoming a member on YouTube that much worth it? And the reality is the 243 plus 95, I'm trying to do that in my head. So we got an 8, we got a 3, we got a 3, and an 8. So the 338 people that sponsor this channel is way more, it's honestly, like, way more important than just hoping that YouTube will pay anything out. So that's why I'm always so appreciative, and I always want to try and tell you guys about Patreon or memberships or that kind of stuff, is just because it's like if YouTube was this much, if YouTube was an inch, Patreon and the memberships are the full foot, the full 12-inch, right? Like a Subway sandwich. Mary Page Flynn just showed up and said, hey, everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. We're all surviving one way or another. We'll see how it goes. And most people talking about notifications and stuff. So let's move on, because let's talk about fish stuff, because most of us are fish tank people of one ilk or another. And today's let's go to Patreon first, and then I'll jump into what the title track is all about. Did this work? I think I just clicked on the wrong button. What did I turn on? Did I turn that on, or did I turn that off? I don't know. I turned something off. Well, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it wasn't the audio, because that would just be a real nightmare, wouldn't it? That is the button I need to click. There we go. You guys can see me scrolling around over here. I'm actually live on the Patreon page right here. You see me click the heart button because it lets people, like, Rumbus know exactly when I clicked the button when to go take a look in the video when I answered whatever it is that they posted. And Rumbust actually wanted to get in at us and said, I'm always thinking I should spread my postings over the week, but then it's Friday and I haven't posted anything, so here's my fourth and final perhaps post for last week. This is actually like, he posted this during the show, and I definitely didn't have time to actually review it and see if like, oh, that's kid-friendly, right? Which is always... It's never really been an issue. It's never been an issue of something that I've ever had to like say, like worry about. But it is something that I do worry about accidentally posting something onto the old YouTube and getting demonetized and getting whatever in trouble. You know what I mean? He says, you talked about how close it seemed to drive from Copenhagen to Stockholm and that Sweden must be small. Now, I need to interject here first and foremost. I didn't say that Sweden was small. I think there's a big area of Sweden that is like Alaska. So, moving on. And as you can see, it's not really that small. It would be the third largest state in the U.S. after Alaska and Texas. But the route from Copenhagen to Stockholm is not that long. Approximated and read and drawn from memory. Don't use it as a guide. I live just past the end of that line, but when you get here, I'll meet you somewhere along the line. I'm thinking shortly after the border between California and Nevada, and show you a few things that you shouldn't miss, mostly not fish-related and at least one art-related, which is rad. It's totally rad. So you guys can see here from his post, this is kind of what I was talking about, is that so Copenhagen is like down here, or sorry, let me get this straight. Copenhagen to Stockholm. Yes, I wanted to refresh my brain parts. So Copenhagen is just down here in Denmark. I really want to go to Copenhagen really bad, and I really want to go to Stockholm really bad. It seems like there's really cool fish stuff going on there, and it turns out this drive that I was talking about on a live stream a while ago is actually one of the most recommended drives to do in Europe, apparently. From... You know, like those little travel guide things that you know, those little travel guide books or something, like something that's a really cool thing to try and do while you're there because there's just so many cool places to stop at and whatnot. So I was looking up how long it was, and I was mentioning that I live right down here, just south of this little Seattle thing, and then over to Spokane, which is right over here, which is the same length of the drive, basically from Copenhagen to Stockholm. But then there's all this area up here of Sweden that is like Alaska, that there's like 8 people living, and then like 10 people over here, and then like 20 people live over here, and then there's like a town of 100 people. You know what I mean? It's like the whole inhabited area of Alaska. But this drive right here would be like me driving from my house to Spokane, which goes over mountains. It does all that stuff. And it would be about the same amount of time, which is realistically 6.5 to 8 hours, depending on if you run into traffic or bad weather or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, is that I was like, wow. Because in my head, it seemed like if you were in Copenhagen, it'd be like 1,000,000 miles to go to Stockholm. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed in my brain parts... like, man, that would be like so far to go. But the reality is, I bet if like Vicky and I could definitely go to Copenhagen, if we leisurely took this drive and let's say we drove up to this part, stayed a night, drove up to Stockholm, stayed a night, hung out for a day, drove back, stayed halfway, drove back down to Copenhagen, something like that. I think that's totally reasonable to do, and I'm excited to do that someday. It is on my list. It is something I want to do, and if I get to run into cool fish-keeping Europeans, I am 100%. I am 100% on board for that. Because it seems to me, every time I've gone to Europe, I've met some really interesting fish people that were really cool. So I do look forward to doing more of that if I get an opportunity to do that again in the future. I hope so. I spoke earlier about some of my health concerns and that kind of stuff. With obviously this virus, travel has definitely been impeded and that kind of stuff. So fingers crossed, hands prayer emoji. I don't know. Hopefully that stuff will work out again and we'll be able to get back to it. But right now, there's just not even a plan on the horizon. Right now I was supposed to be getting back from Germany. We're supposed to be in Germany at Interzoo, which actually got canceled until next year. They moved it all the way back to next year, which I think is, if you have a big convention, I think it's prudent to have just pushed it back the whole year. I don't think I don't think that it would be a good idea if you had a big convention this year to either try and go to it or try and have it. I think it would be a better option if somebody was trying to do a big convention of any kind, whether it be cameras, sports, fish stuff, whatever, to just push it back to next year. I think that's the prudent thought right now. I really do, because even if, let's say, you're allowed to have the big convention, regardless of the coronavirus stuff, you're probably only going to get like half of the people to show up. And that's how big conventions go bankrupt. I mean, that's how what was that big fish convention, the expo, whatever that was, I don't know. The one that was in like New York and it was in Chicago and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember the name of it. Escapes my mind now. I don't know. There was a big fish convention, and now they gave up doing it because they never had enough people showing up. But that's how big conventions die, is that if you don't have full attendance, you go broke, basically. But James R. sent this in on May the 26th, and today is May the 29th. So that's not that bad. We got a little 3-day gapper here to get back to us. It says, hey, everyone. Sorry I've been MIA, but I need some help. My 65-gallon Planet Tank stocking has become kind of a hodgepodge, and I'm stumped on what to add or transfer. Here's the approximate stocking. 20 guppies, 7 Danio Kyathete. I never really know how to say that right. The Kyathete, is that right? I don't know. Probably. Maybe not. 3 cherry barbs, 2 female betas, 2 koi swordtails, male and female. The 2 rosy barbs in the picture are already moved out, and I didn't include my bottom feeders / cleanup crew. So you've got the bottom cleaners / feed up crew. You got the koi swordtails in there. You got the betas in there, the cherry barbs and the danios and the guppies. So I think what I would do first and foremost with this tank is I would take the barbs out, and I would take the danios out. Those would be the 2 groups that I would take out, and then I would kind of just let the guppies build up, let the betas do their thing, because you only have 2 females, so you might as well just let them like chill out in the same tank and do the thing that they're doing. Because in my experience, if you're not breeding betas and you have them in a tank that they are doing well in, there's really nothing to be moving them out of a tank, because they are the type of fish that you go ahead and move them to another environment. They sort of reset whether or not they're kind of like, I was going to say dogs, but I don't know if dogs is the right approximation, but they're kind of like dogs in the fact that they have to establish their whole new territory and like where they fall in the environment that they've been replaced to. So it definitely is something to take into consideration with beta. So I wouldn't move them. I would leave them in there. The danios, I really like those danios. So I think what I would do is I would set up a tank and build out those danios in another tank. Those are the ones I would re-tank. Maybe the cherry barbs, you just let them, keep them until they die. Because I don't know. I mean, I think if you're going to like rehome and build a new environment, then, you could really move anything. I would, except the betas, I would leave those there. Guppies don't care. Cherry barbs would likely like fight with whatever tank you put them in, with whatever's in there. So I wouldn't recommend just moving them to a tank that already has stuff in it. But I think personally what I would do is I would build a new tank for the Danios, because the swordtails that are in there, the cleanup crew that's in there, yeah, and the guppies are going to breed. So I would probably just keep the guppies in there, let them breed like crazy, and go that route as opposed to moving anything else. I would set up a tank for the Danios, maybe just let the cherry barbs just live out their days. But I would take the barbs out personally just because I don't like them that much. But I probably would have never put them in there. So that kind of puts me in a little bit of a predicament because I probably wouldn't have stuck them in there in the first place. So maybe that's rude. I'm not intending to be rude, but I would not have put the barbs in there. I swear, every time I've put tiger barbs, cherry barbs, any kind of barbs in any tank, they've always been the problem fish. And maybe, like I said, maybe that's me just being on a new medication and being a little bit grouchy over the whole situation. But it seems like every time I've put barbs into a tank, they were always the problem. Never had any problem with any of the other fish on that list. The koi swordtail's fine. Betas, female betas, I've never really had a problem with. I've definitely had problems with males. The two rosy barbs in the picture are already moved out. So, yeah, I think that's what I would do. Anyhow, our next post comes from the Hex Tank Apologist, which always cracks me up 100%. The Dwight Schrute with the Hex Tank thing, it's just, it's pure genius. The Hex Tank Apologist is one of those people that, if they lived near me, I would love to start making some YouTube videos with them. Dennis does live near me, so I'm probably going to start making some videos with him someday because he's always home. I don't know that I've ever told him that we were going to do that, but I've always had him on in the back of my mind of like, man, I should start making some videos with Dennis because he's always home. And he's always down to like make a project or something as long as he's feeling okay. So I don't know. But I feel like the Hex Tank Apologist would be rad to make some really weird fish tank videos with, which would be dope. But, I'd love to collaborate more and more these days, but coronavirus, right? It's very helpful. It's a very helpful COVID-19, But Hex Tank Apologist throws this down here that the 60s wall art, I think 100%, I agree that this would definitely do well as some 60s wall art. I think just the tone, the texture, everything on a fuzzy poster that is iridescent in black light would work amazingly. I think it would work out fantastically. I think we should probably get on it. I wonder if Teespring, if Teespring will let us make these pants, you know what I'm saying? If they'll let me make shrimp tights. I don't know what you call them. Are they tights? I think they're tights. Leggings. They're not jeggings. Now, I'm interested in jeggings for some reason. Maybe someday. Maybe someday I'll be able to do some jeggings. But, I'm just casually interested in jeggings and leggings and stuff. But anyhow, maybe they'll make us, let us make a black light poster out of this print. We'll see. I'll have to get permission from you. But Fishkeeper sends this one in, the Nasea crassicaulus, growing beautifully in the back here. Very much love it. We do have a fair amount of people that follow this channel that like to use avatars from The Office. Now, I'm not saying it's something we should do, but I'm thinking we should probably build some more of the characters, you know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people on that show, so we probably should expand what we got going on. But this Nasea crassicaulus is a really cool plant. I wish I had some right now that I could show you guys. But it is growing in extraordinarily well, and it's not a plant I normally would expect most people to have a lot of success with. So err on the side of caution if you are somebody that's watching the show right now and thinking like, oh man, I should just go pick that up. Just pump the brakes and make sure you got a good setup for it, and otherwise you'll be fine. Hold on, I got to hit the cough button. Cough button engaged. I'm just hacking up a lung over here. Don't worry about it. I might die. But yeah, definitely a really cool plant. I thought I had some, but I went and looked, and I don't think that I currently do. I have a different Nisea, which is actually pretty close, but I don't want to spoil one of my videos that's coming up soon. So, you know. But thank you very much for everybody's contributions for the show today on a Friday. I dig it and very much appreciate it. All right. The continued support is pretty amazing, you guys, and I appreciate it a lot. Robbie Noel says, I can put both my dogs in a 29-gallon. As long as your dogs are small enough, then hell yeah. Why not? Why not put a couple little doggies in a 29 for a minute? Would be pretty funny, I would imagine. Snap some shots, throw them up on Facebook, and then boom, people would just lose their mind at your cute little puppy dogs. And I would probably include myself in that group of mind-lost cute puppy dogs. Jessica Taylor, a while ago, says we need a new peanut picture for my baby right here, who actually is asleep right now. And I got the message that she woke up but then went back to her nap. So I don't have to go on daddy duty quite yet, so we'll be able to keep the show going. The dogs were barking and the madness was happening. So, but be aware, when that baby wakes up, I got to go back to doing my dad stuff and change the diapers and all of that. Oh, now, let's get into a couple of things. Oh, people are, sorry, Jessica was asking about new pictures of my baby. I do occasionally post pictures on Instagram of Olivia, and I do occasionally post pictures of her on Facebook. And I'm probably not ever going to put that much stuff, content-wise, of her onto YouTube. Why is that? I don't know. The current position I have is to not put a bunch of content of her up. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but my opinion might change. I don't know. My opinion might change, but currently I just don't want a bunch of content of Olivia on YouTube for whatever reason. But Vicky posts pictures of her onto Instagram and Facebook, so I kind of follow suit that way. I don't really have like a monumental reasoning behind it, but that's just kind of where I'm at psychologically. I do have a lot of video of her doing stuff though. So maybe someday I'll post a compilation of Olivia or something. But she loves the fishes, I'll tell you that. I did post a YouTube story, but it didn't really like have her face in it or anything. It was just her going, fishies, fishies. Midnight Blaze is stoked about my hair flip. Yeah, my hair is getting way too long and is an ongoing problem. And I hope to, I don't know. I had the vibe yesterday that I was just going to shave my head, but I decided not to. I don't know why I decided not to. But I also don't know why I was thinking about it in the first place. So, I don't know. She is adorable, though. Yeah, she is, 100%. She's way too adorable. That's probably one of the reasons I don't want to post. I don't want to post pictures of her. James Shepard says, my Pogostemon stellatus octopus reached the top of the tank. Now it's going to that beautiful pinky purple color. Looks great. Thumbs up on the videos. Well, thank you. Man, I'm just coughing like coughing. Sorry. I spent all morning at the doctor's office, so I'm trying to get rid of this cough. We'll see what happens. A bunch of x-rays today. Whew. Anyhow, So the topic of today is the best aquarium filtration on Earth. Now, I know that a lot of people out there want to find a little mechanism. They want to find a little doodad. They want to find. I should promote my Amazon page, right? So let me find that hang on back filter that's my favorite. The Aqua Clear. The Aqua Clear filter is my favorite hang on back filter. So we'll link that one, right? Man, free 1-day delivery. Look at that. That's just amazing. Stupid Amazon. I know you guys probably all have the same kind of opinion I do of Amazon, that they are the dark overlords at this point. But they are the dark overlords that do at least provide an affiliate payout. So if you go and buy stuff at Amazon, it does give me a cash monetary payout if you go buy stuff at Amazon through our Amazon links. And the only reason I even brought that up is because I was going to post a link in the chat. And if I do that, the Federal Trade Commission requires some kind of notification. So I have to say that crap now. It's pretty fun living out here in the year 2020. Loving it, right? You guys love it. I'm loving it. Blah, blah, blah. I think I just copyright infringed on McDonald's. I'm loving it. Right? Anyhow. So most everybody out there wants to have some kind of AquaClear filter, some kind of doodad, some kind of mechanism that they could hook up to their aquarium, and that will just magically filter their aquarium. Now, through the propagation of bacteria, typically, you will be able to filter a lot of the ammonia and nitrite from your water column in order to create a healthy environment for your fish. Yes, you can do a lot of that. Now, through water changes of fresh water that doesn't have extra compounds like ammonia, like nitrite, and extra, basically, air quote, fertilization type compounds, like excess magnesium, maybe copper, maybe calcium, maybe phosphorus. Doesn't really matter. The list is super long. But through water changes, you'll be able to take out all that other excess and continue to maintain your healthy environment for your fish. Sure. Yes, you can definitely do that with the doodads and mechanisms, whether it be a canister filter or a sump like I use, or a hang-on back filter like I just posted in the chat. Those do work. Yes, they do work for that. But are they the best filter in the world? Hell no. 100% hell no. You would never get me to agree that a hang-on back filter is better than the best filter in the world, and that is plants. Plants are the best. 100 best percent filter for any aquarium in the world. It is the best filtration source that you have in the world. The main reason for that, all those excess compounds and things that you're going to take out with a water change, guess what? There is a plant that will consume that and turn itself into a plant through the photosynthetic process of taking energy from light, creating that, taking that, turning it into simple sugars, carbohydrates, if you will, and combining those compounds with carbon and whatever free-floating thing that was around in your water that you were hoping to get rid of the excess. The plants will do that. Now, some people out there will tell me, I have a black water tank, I can't do that. I have a cichlid tank, and my cichlids are going to eat everything. I will tell you this. Dip those toes to jacuzzi, baby. You know what I'm saying? Take those roots from those plants and grow them up into the sky. Those will filter the tank better than any other filter you could ever find. Or you'd be like me and have fully planted aquariums where you have tons and tons of plants in there growing on a regular basis. That's going to be the best filtration. It will create biofilm for most of your fish to feed on. Most of your fish will be able to feed on infusoria and little bugs and critters and things that will feed off of that biofilm if they can't feed off that themselves. So not only that, not only does it the great filter in the world, it also is actually creating an environment where your fish will be able to eat a little bit also, so that we can take a little bit of the burden off of your back of feeding your fish. Why is all this stuff important? Why is all this stuff important? This stuff is important because we are emulating what we see when we look out the window every day. And obviously that's a very generalized term. If you live somewhere like Death Valley, you'd be like, oh, look out the window and everything's sandy and dead out there. Yes, I get it. The world is a diverse place and there are a lot of environments around. But most of our fish that we keep in our aquariums aren't coming from these crazy diverse areas. Most of them are coming from the equatorial belt around the planet. Which if you go around the planet and look at the equatorial belt, the thing that you'll notice, if there's water there, aka fish, places where fish live, there's going to be an excess of plant growth there. And why? Because that's how the ecosystem works. That's basically how the ecosystem works. It took a trillion, bajillion years to get to this point. Why are we trying to redo that and try to do it some other different way by creating a doodad that will hopefully house enough bacteria so that our fish don't aspirate and die? I'm just coughing. Luckily, my coffee is super hot and it helps to clear my throat. Anyhow, so my whole point here is trying to tell people that, hey, the best filter that you could bring in is some plants. It's something that, oh man, most anybody could do. Talking without coughing, now that's something that most other people can do, but that's not something I can do at this point. Man, it's definitely getting there. But when I was a kid and when a lot of other people were kids, we would get in an aquarium. We would take the fish out, put them in probably like a pitcher or something like that. And we would take everything out of the tank and clean the tank out with like bleach and stuff. Now, that's totally dumb. When I was a kid, that's how you were supposed to take care of your fish tank. That's how you were supposed to take care of it. And it turns out that's complete lunacy and completely stupid. Now, in between a certain period of time in my life, I took a break and didn't really want to do fish tanks anymore because most that I knew about doing fish tanks for a long time, when I was a little kid, we cleaned them. When I got older, I learned, oh, you want all that scuzzy stuff in there. You want all that when you put an object in the tank and you take it out after a week or two, it's all slippery and slimy and grimy. That's a good thing. You actually wanted that, but you still did want to kind of brush things off so you'd be able to see what's going on with your fish and stuff. I got my heart broken by a giant arowana jumping out of a tank a very, very, very long time ago and didn't ever want to deal with fish ever again because it's traumatizingly stupid when a giant fish jumps out and kills itself because it just wants to flop around on the ground like a puppy dog or something. I don't know what it was trying to do, but it died. I wasn't even the owner of it. It was just traumatizingly bad that the giant fish killed itself because we were keeping it in a box. And it's really hard to wrap your mind around a fish that clearly had a thought process and jumped out and killed itself one night. And it's kind of like, man, it really turns out it sucks to be a fish in 1998. I think that's when that was, 1999 maybe. So I didn't really want to keep fish in a box anymore or anything like that. Fast forward 10 years, maybe less, 2007, 2006, something like that. Someone introduced me to the idea of growing plants in an aquarium, and it sort of became a superficial side hobby of mine. Fast forward a couple years after that, you start to realize, like, wait a minute, people are building these astoundingly beautiful things. Like, what are dwarf baby tears? Oh my God, what is happening? Get wildly excited about gardening inside and being able to maintain my own environment inside a tiny glass box. In my house, 24/7, 365, I could have a little bit of nature's beauty in my home at all times with some work, a ton of research, and everything was crazy difficult at the time. The Wallstad method had come out. People were super excited about dirted aquariums, by throwing dirt into their aquariums and then going like, wow, that really works. And does it work? Sure. But I feel like there's a parallel there of the exact same lacking in science than when I was a kid, that you just bleached out an aquarium after you took everything out and you put everything back in and you had, air quote, cleaned it, and everybody would be happy and healthy, to the point that a dirted aquarium often has, what do you call it? It has far too many nutrients and stuff in it to really make it into a maintainable situation for your average day hobbyist person. Is it something that you can manage? For sure. Is it something that allows a much higher level of difficulty for the average person? That also. So I try to recommend certain things to people out there, like utilizing some aqua soils that through science have made it a lot easier to keep a lot of these plants and create an ecosystem in a glass box in your house that can be there the whole year. And utilizing certain things like Easy Green fertilizer. Maybe you want to use Thrive. Maybe you want to use Seachem's products. Maybe you want to use whatever. I happen to use Aquarium Co-ops because I have a good idea of what goes into it, where it's made, all that kind of stuff, and I appreciate all those elements on top of the fact that it's really easy to use. God, I'm just coughing like crazy. I'm sorry. I'm just like blowing out some people's earballs, that's for sure. Fast forward to the year 2020, we have a bunch of products on hand that we're able to utilize the best filter in the world, and that is plants. It's making it into something that the average person can do. You get a box, you get some substrate, you get some cool rocks, you get something to create flow, you get a light. You get some maybe CO2, maybe not, but a little bit of fertilizer, you're able to pretty much grow most plants out there. Now, we all start to lose our minds about what's the greatest plant in the world, or what's the greatest light in the world. How, should I inject CO2? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do this? Should I do that? And my whole reasoning is I'm building an environment that makes it easier for me to maintain the best filtration that I can. Now, one of my aquariums, I tried to go with 0 water changes as long as I could get, and that turned out to be about the 6-month mark. I'm going to be setting up a different system to see if I can get a whole year of what I would consider to be really quality, high-quality aquascape that doesn't actually have to change any of the water. But to be able to quantify that actually is going to take some time. It's going to take some energy, it's going to take some money and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to have to add RODI water and all those things to try and see how well that's going to work out, because I could be accidentally adding minerals that could have been what offset the balance of the tank even after that 6-month mark. I'm losing my cool. I'm losing my ability to keep talking. So, but yeah, so I always want to tell people that, like, the best filter, the best thing that you can do is to build a bit of an environment. I know that I am transfixed by accumulating all these crazy plants, by the aesthetic of everything that's going on, and it's very easy for me to forget personally that not only am I building an aesthetic, I'm also providing the best possible filtration for all my critters, whether it be shrimp, whether it be snails, whether it be fish, whether it be whatever other thing that could be in there, a frog. I'm trying to think, amphibians of any kind. The list goes on, and I don't want to bore you by listing things. And also, I can't exactly have every idea pop into my head forever that will keep a list going, so let's just move on. So not only do I not have to convince you guys of some kind of piece of equipment to buy, you really don't have to. I would recommend putting your energy and your time into figuring out some of the plant stuff. I love being able to help you guys with that. So let me answer a couple of questions here in the chat, because I'm losing my train of thought and my voice is not doing great. So I'm honestly just going to sidebar from the filtration here and move on, because for some reason my eyes are getting super tired too. That is not helping. So it might have something to do with this weird medication that I'm on. Rad. But Bill, somebody was asking about aquascaping tools. So let me let me find my list. Where's Amazon? See more. I think I have to hit the see more button. Where did it go? Where's my store? I don't know. My store's around here somewhere. Well, let me see out of my orders, because I think out of my orders, I think I have an aquascape tool. Aquascape tool. Oh, yeah, that's very helpful. I clicked on that. There we go. Aquascape tools. So there are some cheap aquascape tools out there that will definitely keep you going for a really long time. There are some much nicer ones that I've been using recently that are they were brought to you by Seachem, and I definitely enjoy them. But you do actually have to get them out of a store for whatever reason. I don't know. They thought that they were like. I think that they thought that they were supporting small businesses or something like that by kind of forcing people to go buy their tools indoors, like by literally having to go to a store to do it. While I appreciate that, it doesn't seem to me to necessarily be the case, because now that the coronavirus has pretty much closed a lot of stores. But yeah, here is a link to some fairly affordable ones. Let me get those to you. Where's my chat window? Right there. Oh yeah, FTC regulations. If you buy stuff through Amazon, you get a kickback. Yeah, there you go. I already said it earlier. I don't know how many times I'm supposed to say it, but I did say it earlier. So, FTC, regulate, mount up. Regulators. All right. Speaking of meds, I got to take my afternoon dosage for a big day smoke. Yeah. Robert Bowell said, "What's so hard about growing dwarf baby tears?" In 2007, it was quite difficult to grow dwarf baby tears. Yeah, it's 2020 right now. So I was actually telling a story about kind of the timeline of how I got to where I'm at now, at this point in the year 2020, of understanding the system and trying to learn about the science when the science didn't really exist in the United States, and now you guys pretty much have everything at your fingertips, whether it be developed products that work really well, which is for sure, 100%. There are a lot of products out there that help make it quite easy to utilize what I named this, the best aquarium filtration on earth. But yeah, nowadays there really isn't anything hard about it. Janice Lundberg says, "I struggle with which aqua soil to get. There are so many, I can't figure out which one is the best." Basically, most of the marketed aqua soil, whether it be ADA Amazonia, Fluval Stratum, Landon makes some. There's quite a few out there. Most of them do quite well, of those produced kinds, and do just about the they perform just about the same. So I honestly would say, wherever you're at in the world, find the one that's the best value, that's kind of in that echelon of the vulcanized aqua soil that's kind of created by man, or just utilize something like EcoComplete that is just crushed. All that is just crushed volcanic stone, so that it's not all giant and in the way. Alyssa Bentley just showed up super late. Koi Dragon says, "Hey, Joel, does Italian Val need root tabs in sand substrate?" Generally speaking, yes. I would say that Italian Val would do. It would do to add pretty much root tabs to any sand substrate. So I think it would probably fall in line with, sand is really inert. Yes, it does have a lot of silica, and you will have some success, generally speaking, with some sands, as long as you have like kind of a coarse enough grit. If you have a really fine grit, it ends up compacting quite a bit and causing a lot of kind of exchange problems with the plant. But I think if you're going to go sand, try to go a little bit coarse. And yes, definitely my opinion would be to add some root tabs here and there in any sand substrate, not just specifically for Italian Val. Big D Smoke says, yeah, you got to let folks know about that 6 cents you're going to get from Amazon. Yeah, it's true. The affiliate rates definitely have dropped, just the same as YouTube's AdSense rates dropped a lot also. I did mention Gene Nagata posted a video yesterday of YouTube analytics that you could actually look at if you're somebody that doesn't have anything to do with it, and you might be like, have a cursory interest of like, how does that work? There are many things to balance in order to do no water change, I think, depending on fish, plants, substrate, etc. from Hotea. Yeah, that is true. There are a lot of things to balance out. That is 100% true. And, I managed to get to about the 6-month mark before it started to become unmanageable. Though I will be building some hydroponic / aquaponic racks and things like that it's going to be going through. So we'll see how well that works. We'll see how well. It will take time. I have been doing some floating racks in my sumps and stuff like that. They're working out fairly well. I'm not really, no complaints, honestly. Last week I got myself some, I never know how to say this, the Wernerii fish. And look, like 12. These are awesome fish. I don't know how to say the Iratherina. I don't know. Probably saying that wrong. But the Wernerii, those are pretty cool. Those are pretty cool fish. So copy and paste that and look those up. Dope. Midnight Blaze says Hygro Compacta in a highlight fast water flow tank. Really like the bushy look of it. You can definitely do that. You can do Hygro Compact in a high flow tank, but you're gonna have to establish it and move up the flow slowly over time. And I would also remind people that let me look at some of these images here. I'm gonna actually look up some of the images. So when the Hygro Compact, I would remind people that probably a lot of the images that you're looking at is not what it's going to grow out like. I'm trying to find one that it actually does grow out. See, Hygrophila siamensis would be one that I would say would probably do better in a high flow tank. It does grow a little bit. It does grow a little bit shorter. The leaves are a little bit thinner, and I've actually been growing some in a kind of what I would consider a higher flow area in one of my tanks, and I would think that that's probably a better bet. I can't really find a Hygro Compact. Yeah, there we go. This is probably more. Oh, how do I share the image? Oh, crap. All right, let me go move this tab over here. Oh, man, you hear that? Oh, that's Haggard. Let me delete this. Remove that, and then I can go add source. Oh, whoops. Wrong thing. I clicked the wrong button. I'm sorry. Screen capture, smart selection. That's what we need. Because I don't want to download this image. This isn't my image. This is somebody else's image from TPT. Old school. The Planet Tank forum post. So you guys can see here, this is kind of what it will end up growing out as. And I think oftentimes people will, where did my thing go here? Where did my chat window go? There it is. I think what a lot of people are looking for is something to look more. something along these lines. And more often than not, this is kind of the immersed form, and it probably will end up looking more along the lines of what I had posted there before. And I think that's one of those plants that people are going to kind of miss the expectations, but I would say the Hygrophila siamensis, or however you say that. How do you say that? Siamensis? Siemenses? Hygrophila siamensis mini 53B. I've been having a good time with this plant, and it actually kind of grows more to the expectation, I think, aesthetically and whatnot, and would probably be better off, has a deeper root base in my experience, and would probably be better off in the high flow. So that's what I would probably do. Marco says rainbow fish. Yes, that's what I was trying to get at when Marco had posted that. I don't ever know how to say the rainbow fish. Irantherian. I don't know. I never know how to say that right because I'm kind of dumb. And of course, I'm on new meds too, so it's always good to get some new meds and then get online and be live in front of about, 400 million people are watching right now, I think. Do we have enough likes? Who cares? My reader board actually says we have 1 like. I know that can't be accurate, although maybe it is. We have no super chats, none of that stuff. What was our peak concurrent today? 90 million. Not bad. Not bad for a Friday, right? Cool. Let me get back to my chat here. Gets that red from Midnight Blaze. Yeah, it does have a tendency to get that red, but it's kind of dirty looking and not. And I don't think it necessarily comes through. Most people get kind of disappointed, I would say. But that siamensis, I think, would probably do better in that high flow tank. I was thinking of Java Fern needle leaf and take down the flow. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility. Depends on what. It depends on what. I mean, ultimately, it depends on what you want to do with the environment. The ecosystem that you're setting up. I never really have that much enthusiasm for Java Fern unless you have like a crazy amount of it in one tank, and not a whole lot of other plants. So it's always kind of weird for me to recommend Java Fern to people because I don't necessarily have that lofty opinion of it. Because most people that get Java Fern are like super stoked for it because it's the easiest starter plant that's out there. So most people recommend it and they're like, yeah, get that. But I don't think most people that are starters are patient enough to grow out a lot of Java Fern. So I normally don't recommend it to people. But I will say this. I think in like 2008, I went to go buy a tank from somebody. And he had what was probably, I would say something like a 40-gallon cube that just had one giant ball of Java Fern needle leaf. That was it. That was all that was in there. It was just elevated off and one giant ball of it. And I do have to admit, the guy had to peel me away from just staring at like how cool that was. Benny's Aquatic says, I'm picking up a GBR, a German blue ram male for my female. In a couple hours, any tips to reduce fighting when adding them? Add them in the dark. Generally speaking, is kind of a better idea. Be sure to, with rams, with blue rams especially, I normally cover the whole outside of the tank so that there's not so much movement outside that freaks them out, to just get them established into the tank and then slowly take that off over a couple of days so they get used to it. Ooh, Big D Smoke says, I want to do Bulbitis and Anubius when I do my Fahaka Puffer's new home. Not bad. I can definitely, I know a guy, a.k.a. me, who could help you out with that Bulbitis, my guy. Could probably walk it over to your place. It's beautiful out today, by the way. All right. Looks like I caught up with the chat. I think I'm caught up. Let's spin over. Oh, yeah. No super chats. No new members today, which is a freaking drag, because if we were getting closer to 100, I could let you guys know about when we hit 100. Somebody's going to do a giveaway. Not me. Well, maybe me. I don't know. But when that happens, I'll let you know. JH Aquatics says, what's up from Vermont? What's up, my dude? Lights out and plenty of hiding spots, Benny. Yeah, Texas Sandy. That's pretty much what I was on about. Turn the lights out, do that kind of stuff. It should be good to go. I pretty much, like I said, with rams and stuff like that, I normally put them out, cover the tank around it with butcher paper or something. I don't know. Whatever you got. Doesn't matter. All right. Well, I'm caught up. Hope everybody has a fantastic Friday out there, and I will talk to you all on the other side of whatever.